All right, guys, I got some big news to share with you. But first of all, I want to apologize if this video is choppy. I am on my way to Jacksonville to talk to some of you Gators at the Clay County Gator Club. But I wanted to get this video out. So if it's choppy for you, I apologize. We have some big news for the Gators today as they picked up another commit in the 2024 class. And this time, once again, it's from a major rival. Pierre committed to the Gators today, flipping from our rival Florida State. Florida State lost their offensive coordinator slash offensive line coach, and that's a big deal in recruitment, and it played a role in this. UF saw an opportunity to jump in, and they pounced, they took it, and it worked. Before we talk more about Daniel, I don't think UF is done. On Monday, I told my Patreon members about 3 names that I felt really good about, and we have landed 2 of them already. So go to patreon.com/Allie Peak if you want to stay up to date on what's up next for UF on the trail. Okay, Daniel Pierre Louis, which, by the way, that last name, Pierre Louis, that's done well for Florida in the past. If you guys remember Wandy from the national championship teams, not related, but I'm just saying, we will take a Pierre Louis up in Gainesville. It seems to have some success. Daniel is 6'4", 290 pounds. He is from Seminole Ridge High School, which is in Loxahatchee, Florida. He is a 3-star recruit interior offensive lineman, and Florida has been after him for a long time. He committed to Florida State, though, on October 15th. He visited UF on November 15th for the LSU game and then flipped just a couple days later today. So this is a huge pickup for the Gators because we need offensive linemen. I've talked on this channel for years about how hard it is to recruit offensive linemen because it's a position that doesn't get as developed as much in high school as some of these other positions. There are a lot of schools in a lot of states, maybe not Florida, maybe not Texas or California, but a lot of places where you put your biggest guys on the offensive line and just tell them to fill the hole, right? There's not a whole lot of technique taught. So then that makes recruiting kind of a crapshoot. You can sign big bodies, but it's hard to tell what you're going to get out of that. So you always want to sign as many offensive linemen as you can, knowing that some won't pan out. But an offensive lineman from the state of Florida where they do focus on technique, I will take it all day long. And UF's offensive line improved a ton from last season to this season. They are actually one of the best lines in the country right now. But you can always use good offensive linemen, particularly when you're stealing it from a rival. His main recruiter at UF has been John DeCoster. He's a UF assistant offensive line coach, and he never stopped recruiting him even after he committed to Florida State. And that is something that this staff does really, really well. They build those relationships with these players, and then they continue on with those relationships even after a commitment has happened. And that has proven to be really important, not just for players like Pierre Louis, who we were able to flip before signing day, but for guys like, think about Pup Howard. He is someone the staff had a relationship with, but he committed to South Carolina, being the number 2 hat on the table in this transfer portal era matters, because then they might come around again, if it doesn't work out at their first school. We've seen that with this staff. So, I know that I have been a critic of this staff this season, but this is something that they do incredibly well, and that is stay persistent and build honest, true relationships with these recruits that continue long after their very first commitment elsewhere. This is the 3rd commit that UF has gotten this week from a rival. We got Jones, who was a quarterback we stole from Florida State earlier in the week, Shivers, the former Georgia commit, and now this one, another one from Florida State. This staff is winning battles versus their rivals, and that is important. I want to echo this from yesterday, but listen, that vote of confidence that Napier got from Scott Strickland is playing a role in this. It is helping UF's recruiting efforts. It is allowing them to shut down what opposing teams are saying, which is, hey, you're committing to a staff that won't be here next year. They can no longer use that line. This staff is able to go to these players and say, hey, listen, we have some stability. Our administration believes in what we're building. Look at the product we're putting on the field now in November versus what was happening at the beginning of the year. And these recruits are buying in. I don't think UF is done yet, though. I expect this class to continue to fill out. I'm thinking maybe 18. If it got to 20, I would be surprised, but that would probably be the max. UF is up to 15 recruits right now, so there's room to grow. There's positive momentum on the field, positive momentum on the trail. Florida could get a top 10 win against Ole Miss this weekend. Think about what that would do for the Gators if Lane Kiffin comes to town with Ole Miss, a playoff hopeful at this point, and walks away with the victory. That could be huge for recruiting. All in all, another great day for the Gators as they land another prospect at a position of need and take away from a rival who is already down in the gutter right now. I appreciate all of you for tuning in, and as always, go Gators.